Okay. Hello. No one knows that I'm live yet. I think that I even cut myself off in the beginning for a second there, but hello. I'm going to share this with my lovely beans. How do I share? There it is. Okay. Part of the stream where I'm just talking to myself. Whoop whoop. Part of the stream where I'm just talking to myself. Whoop whoop. Okay. I look crazy in this thumbnail. Okay, something Patreon has to change is for some, I guess it's not Patreon, but it's Apple, is that I cannot use this little drop down box. I'm yelling. Okay, Patreon, we are live. Patreon perk chit chat. Make sure to comment on the actual video over on YouTube. Follow the link here. Great. Publish now. Okay. So nobody's here yet because nobody knows. There we go. Okay, great. There's very harsh lighting. Sorry about that. We're gonna move over. Yeah, that's better. Backlighting. What a time. I'm in my bed because the rest of my room is just destruction. I don't know how it keeps on getting this way. I genuinely don't though, which is what's crazy. I think it's because whenever me and Mystery Man hang out here, like I end up just like moving things all over. Like I end up just like we're eating in here. And so like I end up having to move chairs around and things just get all messy in here all the time. And so the rest of my room is absolutely a wreck. So I didn't want to show that to you guys. But also I'm actually a little cold, so I figured that I would just like chill in here. So nobody's here yet, but I just wanted to hop on because I told you guys last month that what was that noise? What's happening? I told you guys last month that I was going to be taking the month off, one, because I had too much work, and two, because I wanted to really take a look at the Patreon and figure out the perks because they haven't been working. It's both a combo of I'm very bad, very clearly, with keeping up with the physical perks, like the cosplay signed postcards and those sorts of things. And it just has become very clear that it's in part because I sort of forget about them, but also in part that a lot of my time is accounted for. And the hours that the post office is open, this sounds so stupid, but the hours that the post office is open are really hard for me to make it there because I'm usually babysitting during the day, or it's hard for me to make it work. Regardless of the reasons why, it has been really difficult for me to make that work. So I really wanted to take a look at the Patreon and come up with some fun stuff that you guys would enjoy, but that also was doable for me. And the first thing that I want to say is people that I have outstanding perks with, which is a lot of you guys. I am sending out literally this week because they are packaged up. I would show them to you, but I don't want to reveal anybody's addresses. I have packages for you guys. I made you each kind of a nice little care package of handmade felt pins, or other pins. You'll see. You'll be happy with it, I promise. Of signed cosplay postcards and a couple of extra goodies, really just to apologize for the delays, the ridiculous delays on these physical perks. So I'm hoping that these little care packages will show you guys that I really do apologize for the fact that I let these get so out of hand, because I did. And as always, I want to be super and clear with you guys that if you ever wanted a refund for a month that you didn't receive a perk for yet, please hit me up and I will refund you. Totally understand that, because at this point it's on me. So with all these things in mind, like I have care packages going out to you guys that hopefully you'll really enjoy, those of you who I owed physical perks to. And then otherwise, I took a look at the Patreon and I was like, how can we brush this up? And also, how can we make some changes? Because as Patreon has grown, like I've been on Patreon for almost like it might be 4 years. It's 3 years definitely. I think is it 3 years this October or is it 4? I've been on Patreon though for a long time, and there are also a lot of you that have been supporting me almost that entire time, which is crazy. And I so appreciate you. And so, in general, like, of course, it's going to come up that it's just time to change some of the perks. And also, hi Thomas, and hi KMA Productions. Is that Kayla? Is that you? I'm wondering. I think so. But regardless, so I just hit my foot. Oh, I just hit the cut on my foot. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's going great. Yeah, I was right. Hi. So with all that said, I took a good look at the Patreon and I'm happy with what we've landed on. So I'm literally going to go through the Patreon perk by perk because there are now some perks that are non-existent. Like I've deleted 2 tiers. One of them didn't have any patrons, so it didn't matter. But one of them was our $8 reward, which was the Lumos tier. And so I want to be like super clear with all of you. There are 3 people that were patrons of the Lumos tier, and I want to be super clear with all of you that if you want to bring your pledge down, you're totally, it's totally your right to do so. So I am going to literally just go by perk, and we're going to talk it through because there have been some changes. And so I think it's just the best way to go about it. So the Aloha Mora tier, which is the $1 tier, has stayed the same. That one, you get access to my Patreon only stream, which is something I'm really working on, like getting in line for you guys. And my thoughts for the Patreon only stream is that I really like to talk about a lot of the crafting and the stuff that I do that I don't film in the Patreon only streams. I'd really like to make those like much more relevant because a lot of my Patreon now is very much, you guys giving me money towards my crafting that also inherently ends up in my YouTube videos. But I also want to like incorporate that into because that's what a lot of your funding is going towards at this point. So I really would love to make the Patreon only stream a more, I guess, just like a more in depth. Maybe even a little bit more tutorial based if that's something that I can do. Sorry, there's one hair. What are you doing? Why are you so short? What are you? All right. Well, here we are. So I would love to make that a little bit more. I'm working on a format for that hopefully will make it a little bit more engaging for you guys. And also, as per usual, I'm like so up for any sort of feedback that you guys have. That you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. for. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you. But I really would love to make you guys happy. And I want you guys to know that I'm like, your money is going towards really cool things in my life that then I can share with you guys. And so if there's any feedback that you have, please give it to me. Back to this. So the Patreon only stream, as well as our Patreon only Facebook group. And if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group, I so encourage you to. Thomas is actually, I'm glad that Thomas is here. Thomas keeps that group alive. I know that I actively forget to post in the group constantly, and Thomas really keeps that group alive. So thank you, Thomas. You're awesome. So you have that. And then as a one-time only perk, and this is the only physical perk that I offer besides my $100 tier, is that you will get a member card, an official Patreon bean sticker. And the member card has changed a little bit. I had originally wanted to make it really personalized for you guys where I like had your fandoms and all this other stuff on there. But to be honest, not enough people gave me their information. And so the member cards, the way that they look, I wish I had one to show you. I'll post it when I do my wrap up of this. Hi, Rose. I'll post what the member cards look like now when they have a wrap of this. They're still customized in that they have your name on them, but they're not as in depth as I had hoped. And it's just because people don't want to give you their information. People don't want to take surveys. They don't want to take surveys. And so I've simplified it. But that is the only that is the only physical perk besides the $100 perk that I'm offering at this point, because I think it's the only one that I can upkeep with. And so you will get a member card and an official Patreon bean sticker. That's our Aloha Mora tier. Our ridiculous tier, which is our $3 tier, is going to have the desktop wallpaper. That hasn't changed. You're going to get a customized desktop wallpaper every single month of me doing something nerdy or whatever. And also, obviously, the lower rewards. That has not changed. Then we move on to the $5 Wingardium Leviosa tier. So this tier has changed. This tier has changed. This tier is now the Lumos and the Wingardium Leviosa tier combined. So what that means is that this now, for $5, you get access to that monthly live stream. So it used to be that the Lumos tier was how you got access to the monthly Q&A live stream. Now I've dissolved the Lumos tier into the Wingardium Leviosa tier. So for $5, you are getting a monthly Q&A live stream and social media superstar, which means I've officially set this as for every third Wednesday of the month, we are going to have this stream. And it might vary during what time of the day it is. Like, for instance, I think it's really cool, Thomas, that you didn't have to wake up at 5 a.m. for this. So maybe we'll do it every once in a while at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know a lot of people are working during that time, though, so sometimes it'll be at night. But every third Wednesday of the month, so every month we know exactly when the stream is happening. We are going to do that live stream. So for $5, you get the live stream, and you also get your name at the end of my videos. So that perk is now the thing. So our $8 perk is no longer a perk. So if you were previously, and you're going to be getting a message from me, but if you were previously a $8 patron, and you now would like to just bump it down to $5 because there's no reason for you to be paying the extra $3, I totally understand, and I totally feel you. And that is what we will do. And I'll figure out if the best way is to refund you and then have you re-sign up. But yeah, so that's what that deal is. Great. So then moving on to our Stupefy tier. This is the tier I'm most excited about. So Stupefy tier, it used to be the handmade felt pins. It used to be the handmade felt pins. However, it now is daily caffeine for the beans advice posts. So you guys probably have already seen, some of you have, now on your feed every single morning at 8:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, a post will go up on Patreon that is like a little square image from me that is some words of wisdom for the rest of your day. And so every single day I have them. Some of you are going to be like, Kristen, that seems every single day. You could barely keep up with the other perks. That seems like a stretch. I already have all of them scheduled for almost the entire month. So every single morning, they're scheduled posts. This is where I really, really would say, if you don't have the Patreon app on your phone, download the Patreon app, or make sure that you are checking your email notifications just so that you see every morning that it goes up. Set an alarm for yourself to go and check the Patreon. To go and check the Patreon. Hi, Ashley. Oh my gosh, I've missed you, my boo. Yeah, so that's now the Stupefy tier is now daily caffeine for the beans advice posts. They're all like, they're a mix of some of them will be like hard-hitting and truthful, but most of them are sassy and funny. And so I hope that you guys will enjoy. It seems like I will just give, for those of you that are not members of that particular tier, just to kind of give you, I guess, an example of which I really wanted to try and put a picture of an example in the post, but it was giving me a hard time when I was editing these tiers. For instance, today's was the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Whatever you do, do not hit the continue watching on Netflix button. So they're like funny, sassy, motivational posts. But every single day you're getting one of those from me. And they're 100% totally exclusive to Patreon. So that's that scenario. That's the Stupefy tier, which I think is pretty fun. So then moving on to the Accio tier, which are $15 per month. This book previously was the signed cosplay postcards. So this now is access to my personal planner stickers, of which I design. So a lot of you know I create planner stickers for myself, like weekly spreads, because I'm really into planning. And so what I'm now going to do is for at least one a month. You will get access to one full set of stickers that I make that are themed per month. Most likely you'll get more than that though, because I design them almost weekly for myself now. And the only thing that I ask about for this perk is that you don't distribute them anywhere else. I'm giving you access to these to do what you want with them. Like print them out and on sticker paper and put them in your own planner, or they're kind of just cute stickers too if you just want to stick them on things. But please don't distribute them anywhere else. They really are for personal use only. But you're going to get access to those, which is really fun because it feels relevant only in that they are fandom always. They're always fandom related. They're always kind of the time of what's happening. And so I'm totally willing also to give you guys a link to sticker paper that I really recommend. It's from like Amazon, and you get like a trillion sheets for very cheap. And so that's now that tier is that you are getting access to the personal planner stickers that I designed to do with what you will. And now the Petrificus Totalis tier has not changed at all. That is still our Skype lovelies. The only thing that I have added on there is that I will cut off the Skype calls at an hour long now. It's very simply because of my schedule. I actually really had to battle with myself of whether I was going to cut them down to 30-minute Skype calls, but I just don't have the heart to do it right now. Don't have the heart to do it. I really appreciate all of your guys' support. And if I ever did cut it down to shorter, I also would make it cheaper. I'd probably make it $20 versus $25. But you get a once a month video call that with me that is up to an hour long. And we just have to schedule that with one another. And I still have to look at the schedule, the calendar for this month, and put all my stuff in there. But yeah, so that is that tier, of which we only have one spot left for. So if you are interested in joining that tier, we have one spot left in the Petrificus Totalis tier, because that's one of the few that I have to cut because, again, I don't, and my schedule is very full. So I appreciate all of you, but my schedule is very full. And then finally, I had gotten rid of, we had an Expelliarmus tier that was $50, and I got rid of that. It wasn't a successful tier to begin with. There weren't that many throughout the last couple of years. There haven't been that many people that have done the $50. Actually, a lot of people have jumped to the $100 before they jumped to the 50. Don't know why, but I've made it the 100. Deleted the $50 tier and made it a $100 tier. And for the $100 tier, you get a personal care package every 3 months. So the way that this works, and I really, really was like on the fence of doing it this way, but I see a lot of other Patreons do it, and I think it's just the way to go. So if you sign up for Patreon, and even if you only do 1 month with me, 1 month for $100, every 3 months you'll get that care package. So if you do 1 month as $100 and then go down, really it just means that you have to give me an extra 2 months to get it shipped to you. I think that's a good barrier for me to make sure that I can get stuff done. Also, let's say that you're a new patron, and so we've just begun Skype calls. It gives me a better shot also of getting to know you and getting to know what stuff you're into so that I can get you an appropriate care package. And then also, that's also the perk where at the end of the video, I'll promote whatever you would like me to promote. I'm just noticing this wonderful mascara here. Great. I will also promote whatever you need to promote. So like if you have an Etsy shop and you're really looking to just make like a one-time donation to get your Etsy shop out there for the month to be included at the end of my videos, that's a great perk for you, and all that stuff. And so those are now our perks. So the two tiers that have been dissolved are the Lumos and the Expelliarmus tiers. And luckily, I didn't make the live stream any more expensive for Lumos people. I actually made it cheaper. So again, if you were previously an $8 Patreon and you'd like to go down to $5, totally understand. And that's what our month is sort of looking like. So right now, if you are part of the Stupefy tier, you already have had access for the last 2 days to posts that have been going up at 8:30 in the morning, which is really awesome. And then I'm going to be posting some planner sticker stuff very, very soon into there. And yeah, and again, I would love feedback from you guys, because this is all a process of trial and elimination. Like it's sort of like if this one thing doesn't work, we change it to this thing. If this thing doesn't work, we change it to this. But I think in this way, like I'm creating stuff that then you have access to, like the planner stickers, like the desktop wallpaper, like the live streams, obviously. And hopefully that will like you be a thing that you guys appreciate and enjoy as I still am figuring out videos. Which brings us, I guess, to videos. So yesterday I uploaded, in case you guys didn't see, a 38-second long video about what it's like waking up on September 1st. I won't ruin it for you guys in case you haven't seen it, but I highly recommend that you go and check it out. It's available on all the platforms. It did really well on Facebook. On YouTube, it's getting, unfortunately, my normal YouTube views now are around 200 to 300 views, which is kind of crazy just based off of what my videos used to make. But I also don't upload consistently anymore. So you got to live with what you choose to do. So I really enjoyed making that video, and I really would love to make more. I have more ideas for videos that are like similar style, in that they are short and therefore they are easy to film, but they're still fun and funny and worth making. And in the meantime, I also am trying to get us ready for Haunttober. Now, Haunttober this year does not mean interviewing people that have ghost stories. I would love to do that if I have people that do have ghost stories. But it's mainly just about getting really like into the season, because I really love that season. And I think it's a great, I think having such a passion for October and for this kind of fall holiday season, Halloween season rather, is a really great way to get back into videos, because I have such a passion for that it's very easy to integrate into video. And so I'm really working on trying to come up with a bunch of really fun ideas for you guys. I also soon, hopefully, I'm going to be like, Max was the star of that video. You're totally right. And that's the other thing. Okay. So thank you for bringing this up, Thomas. So a big thing yesterday, for example, also was that like people, were asking, like, every video, I feel like every other comment was about Max on that video. And so it came up that like I have all this really cute extra footage of me wrapping Max in streamers, and I was thinking of like uploading that to the Patreon. And so like I really would love to do those sorts of extra little things for you guys, where it's not assigned to any particular perk, it's just for Patreon supporters. And so like that, for example, I'm probably going to upload to here probably today, because my sister also wants to see it. I'm going to make her donate $1 to see it. So adding Jenna every day. So stuff like that is also stuff that I want to be putting on Patreon. But the other thing I was going to say is that hopefully soon I'm also going to be working on cosplay again. It's been a while. It's been like actually months since I really worked on a new cosplay. I just premiered my little Punk Mars cosplay at a convention last weekend at InBeyond Con, but that was like definitely more of though I really enjoyed the cosplay, it was much more of a closet cosplay. I like really just, it was all of it. None of it was stuff that I made from scratch. I took a hoodie and I cut it up and made all these other adjustments to it, but to me, that still doesn't feel like a full cosplay. So I'm going to be working on hopefully a new cosplay soon. My cosplay goals right now are Farah from Overwatch, and that tentatively is for me to have ready by February. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. Farah is not a cosplay that I want to give an end date, because I really want to give her the time that she deserves. And I really want to learn from that cosplay. I really want to like do it right and learn about like what is a good way to make sustainable armor. Another big thing that I'm going to be working on is for Moon Menagerie. I'm going to be working on my Eternal Sailor Mars cosplay. If you don't know, the Eternals are another version of the Fuku. You can Google Eternal Sailor Mars and you'll see it pops up. And we're doing some cool little variations on that, but mainly the same build. But honestly, the bigger component for me that of that build is that I'm going to be making Sailor Mars's bow, her bow and arrow, and I'm hopefully going to be working with LEDs for the first time and doing all that sort of stuff. And so my goal really is to sort of like not to do a tutorial of that, but sort of vlog through the experience for those who have never made a cosplay before or never tackled this sort of thing before, like what it feels like to try and tackle this sort of thing. And one of my amazing patrons, Lily Archer Creative, is going to be helping me on that. Our lovely sailor, Pluto, is going to be helping me with that. And so those are like two big builds. And then I also bought a while back the supplies to make that Hannah Alexander design version of Raven. So I really want to be working on that. So I have stuff that's coming in the mix. Oh, I'm also going to be working on a Vanellope cosplay from Wreck-It Ralph that's going to be for KatsuCon. So that's happening. So really like I'm no longer going to New York Comic Con, which is like sad, but also is just the way that it is. And because I'm going away for a work event that weekend now. But it sort of works out well because I really can just spend the next couple of months dedicating time to making cosplays without an end date. Very few of those, like the Sailor Mars and Vanellope, have an end date, but like other than that, it's totally up to me to make these cosplays happen. And that's a really good feeling. And in the meantime, I also have been making a lot of little crafts that have been getting me back into like sewing. And you know, the hard part about cosplay is that it's really hard sometimes for me to get into the headspace of getting started on a cosplay. It's such a daunting task, right? Like, where do you begin? What do you do? And that has always been something that I really struggle with, which is why I end up procrastinating and like doing everything in the last 2 weeks, which is just it's not a good way to do it. It's not a sustainable way to make a cosplay. And so I've been doing a lot of like sewing and crafting that's just for myself. That's not for YouTube. That's not for anything. And it's felt really good. But with that in mind, like a thing that I really think I might start doing is making videos, not showing you how to make these crafts, but telling you like what I've made over the last month. I've seen some videos of people doing like what I sewed this month, what I crafted this month. And I think that would be really fun. And I can just very slightly walk you through how I made these things, like what pattern I made, what pattern I used, what like glue I use, that sort of stuff. I think that would be really fun. And it also would be a great thing for you guys. And maybe I keep more tutorially stuff, like do write-ups for you guys, because that's much easier than filming a full tutorial. So I don't know. I'm messing with everything. I'm really trying to figure it out. But in the process, I super appreciate that you guys, I already bought supplies for like another video. I bought supplies for a video like using the Patreon money from 2 months ago, bought supplies for a video that I'll be filming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So I've got stuff in mind. I also I feel really great right now that I feel like I have a group of people around me that understand my content and want to support me and in making that content happen. And so I'm just feeling a lot more re-inspired to do those sorts of things. And like, again, there's this weird sense of like me accepting that like I'm never going to be a huge YouTuber. I think there's something like very freeing in that, and like in totally kind of getting rid of the idea that like this is a thing that I could get thousands of subscribers more from. I've sort of abandoned that. And like, that's kind of a very freeing thing. And if it happened one day, that'd be amazing, but I don't think it's going to. And so there's kind of this like amazing thing in accepting that and just making the content that I think is really fun and that I think my already existing audience is going to think is fun. So, let's see. Have you ever cosplayed as Princess Zelda? I think you'd make a badass Princess Zelda. Thank you so much. I've cosplayed a Sailor Scout version of Princess Zelda from Wind Waker. But that is definitely a cosplay on my list. And I actually have 2 people that would be Ganondorf and Link with me. And so that's definitely something that next year I think is going to be something I'm going to revisit and do, because I love, you guys know, I love Zelda so much. I also really would love to cosplay. There's so many people that I'd love to cosplay. This is the problem with cosplay. I want to cosplay Dolores from Westworld, Bowser in some sort of form from Nintendo. I want to cosplay. Who else? I want to revisit my Mifa cosplay. Not my Mifa. I do want to revisit Mifa, but my medley, medley cosplay. I would love to revisit her and actually make her wings because I've cosplayed her before and it was one of my faves, and I still have it. It's still in really good condition, considering the level of sewing that I was at that time. That cosplay came out really great, but I just haven't like revisited her, and I really would love to. So there are a bunch of things on my list for sure. And that's something that I really want to focus on. Like towards the end of this year, I'd really love to focus on like not just watching Netflix, like really taking advantage of my time to do stuff that makes me feel really good and accomplished. Something that I've realized for myself, and a thing that I have to work on, is that I find it very hard to feel accomplished from like work. I'm doing work right now that I love, and that like work, like in my work life, I'm finally doing creative work that I really enjoy and work that really feels fulfilling. But it's really hard for some reason for me to feel a sense of achievement at the end of the day. And I think it's because my hours are so flexible and so wonky that it feels like some stuff never ends. And so I think doing hobbies that make me feel really personally accomplished is a really good way to combat that and to leave the end of the day feeling really good about what I've done. And so that's a thing that I really want to work on. And so I really, by the end of this year, I would really love to have made some cool stuff. And who knows, even along, I've always sort of wanted to be like a business owner of some sort. And like, I would love to find that thing and that crafting thing that I really enjoy crafting that I could then maybe turn into a profit. I don't know. I don't know. Which I've discussed before, like, cosplay in relation to planning is something I really am interested in, and I've had a really big idea for a long time. And so these are things that I'd really love to start really investing my time in, you know? Like there's nothing wrong with relaxing and watching Netflix, but I feel like that's all I do. At the end of the day, my brain feels so fried that it's like I can't get out of that space, and I really need to like work on that personally. Um Let's see. Yay, I'm glad that you guys would love to see the sort of what I made stuff. I do not have a PO box. I've thought a lot about starting one before, but as of right now, I do not have a PO box. But maybe in the future, that's something also that Tomcat and I have discussed. Maybe opening a like co-owned PO box for Kat and Kristen stuff, and then personally for the two of us, we could both use that as our PO boxes. So maybe I'll bring that up also to them to see if that's something we are interested in doing. As someone who's seen your content change over the years, I love this new vision you seem to have. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's really hard. It's really hard on YouTube. It's also hard for me to watch old content and be like, wow, I wish I was still making that. And so, like, literally making that 38-second video yesterday felt so good. I used to make really short videos like that back in the day that I really enjoyed. Like, I just had an idea and I went and made it. And it didn't matter if it looked perfect. It didn't matter if it was the best thing I've ever made. It just was fun. And so I really would love to recommit to doing that sort of stuff. It so annoys me when people think that Link is called Zelda. I just find it funny at this point. I just think it's funny at this point. But yeah, so in short, that is parodies were one of my faves. Yeah, and I would love to. Parodies just take so much time, but they're something that I really want to reinvest in doing. Again, the hardest thing I think about this is feeling like I'm on an island. Like on an island by myself sort of deal. Like a lot of these, for so many years, I've done all of this on my own. And so then finding people to help me make my bigger ideas a reality has just been hard. It's just been a hard time. Like I'm really proud of the Royals parody, which was filmed like and created and done entirely by me. And so I know it's possible, but like really to achieve those bigger goals, I have to bring more people on. And it's about finding people that like this is also worth their time and that they're invested in and that they get the vision of. And that's just a hard task. It is. It's just a hard task. But they're my favorite. They're like my favorite videos to make are the parodies, without a doubt. Like can say that so easily. My favorite videos to make are the parodies. I have a gift for you, so I was wondering what's the best way to get it to you. Oh, Rose, I will figure out what the best way to get it to me is, and I will let you know. But thank you. You didn't have to give me a gift. Um, I've got more free time than I used to, and I've been working on writing a novel. It's something I've always wanted to do. I'm loving writing, and I think it's important to do things that make you happy. Yeah, totally. Reinvesting in yourself, and it can be really hard, like especially when you're like working full time and working like adulthood in general. I think one of the biggest things that you then need to learn to balance is like when is free time for yourself, and like how can you also make it so that you are not exhausted by the end of the day? Like, is there something that you do to help revitalize yourself and like give yourself that second boost of energy? Like, is it turning off? For me, I think a big thing that I need to work on is really just turning off technology after a certain point. Technology is now such a huge part of my everyday working that it's hard for me to like turn off like looking at my phone and looking at this and doing this and whatever. And so I think for me, a big thing that I have to work on is really just like maybe at like 6 o'clock, turning off everything on my phone but texting and calling. But the problem is I also really enjoy Twitter and I really enjoy social media. So it's a hard balance. It's a really hard balance. Um, but anyway, so this has been 35 minutes long. I'm glad that we were able to have a little bit of a chat about the future of the Patreon, what's going on, what you can expect, what I'm working on. As always, if you ever have a question about your pledge or if you um, need if you need anything really, like please reach out to me. The best way to do so is at kristencordino@gmail.com. Or you can send me a message through Patreon that will send an email to me to that email address. So just sending me a direct message on Patreon totally will look into what your needs are. And in general, thank you so much, all of you, for supporting me and doing this thing with me. Like, very, very grateful and very cool. And like, I sometimes have to explain this to other people, and it always is like the most bizarre thing to explain because it's just saying like people support me and literally support me enough to give me some of their like hard earned money to help fund the things that I want to do and want to share with you guys. And so, like, that's really crazy, and I'm really lucky, and I hope that you guys know that I really try not to take that for granted. Yeah. So that's what's going on. As always, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And thank you for joining me for this stream. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And yeah, I will talk to you all very, very soon. And if you're a part of the Stupefy tier or more, look out for those daily posts. I love you all. Bye.